Today I'm going to show you how to create your own LUT for Premiere Pro or any video editing software using a Lightroom preset that you already use. But I'm also going to get a little deeper into how to tweak it for the exact video that you're working on. So we're going to, first of all, we don't need to be in Premiere Pro yet, but I brought in a few clips so we can test out the LUT that we create. But let's start over here, and what you're going to do is go to this address right here, which I'm going to put in the description below so you can grab that link yourself. And once you go here, you can download this LUT generator. This is free. So if you click download LUT generator, it'll bring you down here so you can download it. It's compatible with Mac and Windows. So once you download it, it's going to give you both options. So you'll have it for either one. So go ahead and download that. And once you do that, then, I've already downloaded it, so I'm just going to have it here. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so once you download it, it's going to show up, and just open the folder that it's in. I already opened the folder, but this is what it was called. And you're going to see all this stuff in here. So depending on what you have, you can either do the Mac or the Windows. I have a Mac, so I'm going to click on this one. And then you're just going to double click here. Now you're going to try and open this. Now on my Mac, it doesn't let me open it, so let me show you. It'll say this. I promise this is a safe thing to open. I have done it many times. So what you're going to do now that you've tried to open it is go up to your Apple, go to System Settings, then go to Privacy and Security. Scroll all the way down, and it's going to show up down here under Security. It'll say like it was blocked to protect your Mac. Click Open Anyway, and then just say Open Anyway. And then put your password in or do your touch screen or whatever, and it will open. So here we go. We have it open now. And then we're going to click on Generate HUD, and I'm going to save it somewhere that I'm going to be able to find, and I'm going to create a new folder. It's not going to let me. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to save it in this here. It's successfully saved in there. Now I'm going to put it where I want it. Okay, so I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it New LUT. And I'm going to throw this into there. And this is going to make this a lot easier if it's in its own folder. Okay, and then I'm going to just rename this New LUT. And then I'm going to go back to my Premiere Pro. And I have already pulled in a few clips that I want to use to make sure that my preset works well. Because this is, let's say this is the video that I'm editing, well, I want to make sure that whatever preset that I'm going to use to generate the LUT is going to look good on this session. So the trick here is if you just double click this, it'll get big, and we'll just take any part of these clips, and I'm just going to take a screenshot. So if you hit Command-Shift-4, you can make a screenshot and draw around the area. So I'm going to save that as a photo. And then I'm going to go to here. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll save this. And I also have this clip. So I'm going to save this one as well. And that way we're actually working with the screenshots from the video to make sure that we're adding a LUT that actually looks good. So now after I've saved those, I want to put those into this same folder that I already created. So let's go over to desktop and grab these 3 screenshots, put them in here. Cool. All right, so now I'm just going to select all of these and I'm going to open up Lightroom. And now I will go, in the library tab, I'm going to click import. And I'm just going to open up this and I'm just going to drag this into Lightroom and that is going to import. There we go. Okay, so now I have this all in a folder and now I can apply my preset. So let's go over to develop. And the preset that I'm going to use as the base is my punchy preset. This is the preset I use on everything. Now it looks totally different because these are now like essentially JPEGs that we're putting them on. Well, I guess it's a PNG if you look at the file type, but whatever. It's a compressed file. It's not a RAW. So this is not how my presets look like usually. If I put it on a RAW file, it doesn't look like this. But that is going to be the same with your video because a video is basically like putting a preset on a RAW image. So that's why we're not going to test this on a RAW image. We're testing it on a JPEG. So I am going to probably calm down a lot of these settings that I would usually really like the look of on a RAW. Now it looks insane, right? So one thing we don't need is the sharpening because that's just really not going to translate over into video. I'm just taking all of that off. This is not going to translate into video, so that doesn't matter. Okay, all of this is good. So now the most important thing here is just to get like this area looking how we want it, because everything else really from my preset I like, but it's just these things. So like I don't want to bring the shadows down, that would look ridiculous, so I need to bring them up, right? Maybe not that much. And then I'm also not going to mess with exposure here because I can do that once I actually bring it into Premiere Pro. So if I'm making a LUT, I don't want to mess with the exposure, so I'm just going to deal with this stuff. So contrast, I feel like we could just take that off. That's too much. The blacks need to come up a lot. That looks much better. Bring the whites up a little bit. I mean, I think that looks pretty good. Maybe I'll bring the blacks up a little bit more. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And like you can come in here and mess with the tone curve and things like that, but I really like my preset the way it is, so I don't really want to mess with it too much. If the colors are not working for you, you could always do something like, you know, I could like desaturate the yellows or whatever, you know, something like that. I'm gonna undo. You can mess with the colors if you want to, but you know, I like the way that it looks currently because I like this preset a lot. It works for everything. So I like the way that is looking. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to hold down the shift button. And so I'm selecting all of these and I'm just going to click the sync button and I'm going to check all, but then I'm going to take off the things that I don't want. Obviously masking, there is none. I didn't actually have that. I mean, really, if I had done anything like the remove or the crop or the transform, I wouldn't want that to transfer over. But since I didn't really do anything, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to hit sync. All right, let's get rid of that. All right, so this is kind of how this ended up looking. So before it looked like that, and now this is what it looks like with the preset. And so for this one, like that might be maybe a little too bright. So I could, you know, bring the blacks down or something like that. But I think once I get it into Premiere Pro, I could just change the exposure and it would look fine. So in that case, I might just leave it as it is. It might just be the shadows. Yeah, if I just brought the shadows down. Let's see about this one. If I brought the shadows down on this, would I be mad? No. Would I be mad if I brought it down on this? Guess not. Okay, just so universally I can just save one preset. I just wanted to see how it would look on the rest. So yeah, I think if I just bring the shadows down a touch, then that should look good on all of them. Okay, so if that's my final verdict, I like Just, I like the way the shadows ended up looking in this one, so I want to make sure that I have those shadows down a little bit. All right, so I'm going to hit Command, and I'm going to click on this, and now I'm going to hit Sync. And like this kind of thing, we're not going to sync to that. I don't think we did it anyway. I don't want to do any of that in the LUT. I also don't want to do white balance or exposure in the LUT because I don't want to mess with that. And then everything else, I am happy. Well, no, I don't want that. I mean, I didn't have that, but whatever. Yeah, so those are the things that I want to convert over into the LUT. So let's hit synchronize. Okay, so now that is there. So it looks different now because this is the before and that's the after. So you can see that we changed some of the colors and things like that. And now you're going to go up to File, Export, and you're going to need to export it to that same folder. So I'm going to go to Choose. I'm going to go find that folder, and here it is. So I'll click Choose, and we can call it whatever we want. I guess that setting is fine. Maybe not. Let me edit it. We'll call it Becca's LUT. Done. And you just want to make sure that your quality is all the way up. You're saving it as a JPEG, and you want to make sure that your resolution is 300, and then you can click export. It is now in your folder under Becca's LUT. Then you go back over to your LUT generator, double click it, click on convert to cube, and you can go find that. Now, if you save it as a PNG, that would be fine too. PNG or JPEG is going to work. But we saved it as a JPEG. Let's open that up, and it'll say work in progress at the top. It's just going to take a few seconds, and then it will generate your LUT. There we go. So we'll say okay, and you can see that it popped up here in this folder. Awesome. Now we're going to go back to Premiere Pro, and I have my effects panel open, and in here you'll find the Lumetri color, and under here you'll find the creative tab. So open that up, and you can click here, click on browse, and go find where you saved that, and you can just double click it there, and now it applies. So you can mess with the intensity on it. So if you don't like how intense that looks, you can always bring it down. And then we can go and we can put it on this one. So we'll go to browse and we'll go put that on there. There we go. So yeah, I love the way that that looks. And then on this one, I'm gonna browse, go get that, and I like that way that looks, except for this one, I feel like I needed to go to basic correction and just bring up the exposure because I underexposed that a little bit and I don't like it. And then I might just bring the shadows up a touch just on this one, but that's something that I can do on my own, so I don't mind. But for the most part, I really like how that looks on all of them. And you can also, instead of applying it to each separate clip like I did, you could also go here, click new item, and click on adjustment layer, say okay, and then grab that adjustment layer, put it here, make it go across all your clips, and then on the adjustment layer you can apply the LUT to that. Now it's super intense though because I already have it applied to these, but I could just take that off, each individual clip, and now it's just applied up here. And it's, so if you like that LUT for everything, then you can just do that and then just go into each individual clip and do the basic correction like I already did for this one. So that's actually usually what I would do rather than apply it to each separate clip. But you can make several LUTs. So let's say that, you know, the coloring for this one I actually really didn't like and I wanted, you know, this one to have a different LUT. Well, then I would just go back over into my Lightroom and I would adjust whatever I wanted to adjust here. So let's say, I wanted the shadows up a lot on this one, and I wanted to come in here and change this or whatever it was. And then I can just save those to this again. Say sync, and then I can export this again and make another LUT. So you can do as many as you want. So you can do ones that are, you're like, this one is, softer blacks, or this one is, I'm bringing the oranges down so it's more desaturated. So I'll call that one like desaturated oranges. So you can make different versions of it. So you can fix any little thing that you need to fix within a session, and that's going to make it so much easier for you to get your coloring right when you are editing your videos in Premiere Pro. Hopefully that was super helpful. And if you want to learn how to make family films that look like this, then I have an entire course about that, and I will include the link to that in the description as well. Bye!